Hey gorgeous, welcome to Happy Go Fabulous. I am so thrilled that you're here. This is our space where we get real about life, the good, the messy and all the juicy bits in between. Real talk, real life and a whole lot of delicious living. But I must warn you, listening may cause unexpected outbreaks of fabulousness and real life magic. Hi, I'm Catherine and I am so incredibly passionate about helping inspired, motivated, impact-driven, freedom-seeking people just like you to do the deep inner work to create those beautiful outer wonders in life. It's all about revolutionising your relationship with yourself, where you fall madly, deeply in love with who you are and create a life so fabulous you can't wait to jump out of bed every morning to live it. Ready? Because ordinary living is so last season. Life's waiting and it's time to make it fabulous. Let's shimmy on in. So I've got a guest with me today on the podcast, and this episode is all about being 30 years married, being married for 30 years. So I've got John, my husband, here with me, and we are just going to reflect on the past 30 years. So we'll try and keep it short. And we're actually recording this on our 30th wedding anniversary. John's normally more of a behind the scenes kind of guy, but I said to him today, how about we pop on and just talk about 30 years? Because it's huge. It's a big milestone. And he's like, yeah, sure. So, so John's here with me and we are going to reflect on the 30 years. So we're recording this on our actual wedding anniversary, which was in January. So what I want to do is think back to before we got married, to meeting. What was your memory of our meeting?
Well, I was going horse riding with some friends, and a friend of mine, Kate, said, can I bring a friend? And I said, yes. And then she said, can my friend bring friends? And I said, yes, it's getting bigger than Ben-Hur. But then we went horse riding in a big group and it was great. I really liked her the first time I met her.
Yeah. So the way John and I works is he'll give you some info and then I'll go back and fill the details in. So I'd been in a rebound relationship and that ended and I was feeling a little bit sad and sorry for myself, and my girlfriend and her new partner had come to stay. My girlfriend from kindy had come to stay, and Kate, who John mentioned, was renting a room from my house, and she was a school teacher. And she said, I'm going horse riding with a group of friends. Would you like to come? And I'm just going, no, that does not interest me at all. And my girlfriend who was with me, she said, oh, yeah, let's go horse riding and see what happens. So anyway, John taught with Kate. So they were teachers together and they that was part of the group. And John was there horse riding. So do you remember when we actually met at the horse riding?
Well, was it when the horse ran away?
Yeah. So John, and another bit of backstory. So you'll see our relationship working or hear our relationship working here. John used to be a stockman. He worked on cattle stations and he was very, very proficient. Is that what you say? At riding horses? Yeah. He was very, remember that photo? Oh my God, there's a photo of John as a stockman. I will have to dig that up. It's very, very cool. But John was a very proficient on the horses. I was not. And I'm like plodding along and he just made sure that I was okay. So he could have gone off and ridden and done with his mates and stuff like that, but he just made sure that I was okay on the horse. And I'd like to say that I was pretending, but I wasn't. I was fucking scared. So John hung around and then we were in the back of I can't even remember, but in the back of this trailer coming back somewhere. And anyway, John and I just clicked. We just clicked and then we went out for pizza that night.
Yeah.
And this is before mobile phones or anything. And it's like, how do I stay in contact?
But you didn't mention the horse ran away and I had to
that's right,
chase after you.
Yeah. I forgot that. So
rescued her.
night on shining. I don't know. What colour was your horse? I think mine was like whatever. So he saved me. And then we went out for pizza, and my girlfriend, Kate, was just like, okay, see ya. And I'm like, how do I stay in contact with this guy? And do you know what? I do remember this. You said your phone number, and it was 6254 0509, and he sung his phone number so I can remember it 30 odd years later. So anyway, I had the phone number. And do you remember after that what happened?
You said you got a table to fix because I'm a woodwork teacher. And Kate kept saying, no, another night. And that's...
Yeah, so Kate was renting a room off me, and I'm like, how can I get back in contact with this bloke? I had his phone number, but it just felt a bit random to call him up. And I said to Kate, tell me more about this bloke, this John guy. How well do you know him? And she said, yeah, he's a really good guy. And I said, do you think he could come over and maybe, like, my kitchen table's a bit broken, could he come over and help fix it? And she goes, no, it's fine. Like the table, and I'm going, like, how can I get John over to get to meet him more? And Kate just she was like the middle person, and she kept interfering, didn't she?
Is that when I invited you over to Steve's place with her and we had that Chinese?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That was funny.
Tell them about that.
Well,
tell them that.
We were sitting down having dinner with my friends that I lived in a group house. It was great. Loved doing it. Kate and Catherine came over, and then we were eating away. I think it was Japanese because Hiro was there and he was Japanese. So we did tempura veggies. And anyway, we hear a noise. We go, oh, what's that? Anyway, we keep on eating and chatting. Then there's another noise. And we go, oh, there's someone in the house. So we all get up, chase down this noise. And we couldn't find it. So we come back, and then Catherine and Kate were under the table.
We're under the table because we were frightened that they were going, oh, my God, there's somebody about to break in. And who was it?
It was my mate, Lee Pillen, and we found him hiding in the shower because he was sneaking around the house.
It was actually
very good fun.
Quite fun. That was quite fun. So we connected then, and then I can't even remember. John's a woodwork teacher, and then...
we were making recycled picture frames.
Yeah, well...
Then we went camping.
We went camping. So we met, I can't remember what. I think whenever we met, we were horse riding. I think it
must
took...
be February, March.
I think it took maybe a couple of months to then connect again. And then once we connected, it was just like, woo, things went really, really quick. So it was actually when we went on our first proper date, which was camping, would you believe?
Caving.
Excuse my language. This is... those of you who know me, I'm not super brave. I'm claustrophobic. I'm not
great at stepping out.
No, I'm not great at stepping out of my comfort zone, especially physical stuff. And John is Mr. Action Adventurer. And he said, do you want to come camping and caving? And I'm just going, oh, fuck, what do I say? Like, I really like this guy. It's taken us a long time to get together. I do not want to go caving. Camping was okay. I do not want to go caving. And I went, yeah, sure, I'll go. And we went into these caves at Bungonia Gorge, and they were not big caves.
No,
they were tight, squeezy. They were tight. They were small. They were small.
So, anyway, I get down to the bottom of the cave, and I turn around saying, "This is great fun, isn't it?" And she's going.
I was crying all the way down, and I was like, inside. I was panicking, going, I hate this, but I really, really like this guy. I want to impress this guy, but I really like him, and I'll give it a go. And he was down the bottom. He goes, oh, this is so cool. And then he saw me, and he was just like, oh, I didn't realise. And I'm just like, that's okay. Let's fucking get out of here.
And that's when I realised she can be brave.
Yeah. And it kind of brought this connection together that he could see that I was stepping out of my comfort zone, and I could really see this kind, caring, rescuing me. Yeah, and it was very cool. And then from that, so we went on that camping trip, caving trip, and driving back to Canberra, we were just talking about, our wedding. And that was our first date, and we just knew, didn't we?
Yeah.
Do you know, we're probably going to cry a lot in here, just to let you know. He cries a lot. I cry a lot, so there's probably going to be lots of tears. But we just knew, and we were just talking about our
double wedding.
Yeah. So my girlfriend who came on the horse riding trip, she was in her new relationship, and we were just going, wouldn't it be cool if we had a double wedding with them? And we talked to them about that, and they're going, yeah, so cool. But that didn't eventuate for a number of reasons. Remember the wedding?
It was great. We had a theme, bush colonial theme.
Yeah.
So we were all dressed up I was in colonial stuff, whatever that means, and Catherine was in a white thing with a red bodice. It was very pretty.
White thing and a red
people
bodice.
came as squatters and sailors and captains and wenches. And
it was cool. And I can't remember, do you know what, I really can't remember why we chose that theme, but I love organising events, and I loved themed parties. And I said, wouldn't it be cool if we had a fancy dress wedding?
And I just followed on.
And John loved the idea.
That's really all it is. There's a secret.
Yeah, okay, we can end the podcast now. I suggest something. He follows along 30 years later. That's how it works. But we went, and we were going to, when we were going to have the double wedding, it was like the two guys were going to ride up on horses, and it was all this beautiful stuff. But anyway, we went, well, we'll still go ahead with the themed wedding, and John wore like
White
moleskins,
shirt,
big puffy shirt and a vest, and I had my white thing was actually a white dress and a red velvet bustier and boots, and everybody came dressed up in fancy dress, and we had a bush dance. So we got married in the church in Young, and our reception was in a shearing shed, and we had a bush dance with the just a bush band that was the wedding ceremony, and it was just such good fun. It was involved everybody, and it was a beautiful ceremony, but it involved everybody, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's really important for us, that it's about involving everybody. And do you remember when so we had the little cottage on the property booked for our wedding night.
Didn't tell anyone
but we didn't tell anybody, because in those days, and especially my friends, they would have gate crashed. They would have come and hung out with us, and it's just like, no, that's not what we want for our wedding night. But my sister-in-law and husband, they set their kid up in there. Everybody set it up as their kind of like just drop shit off stuff. And we're just like, man, but we didn't want to tell them we were staying there. So we snuck off.
In the bush.
And we thought we could hear noises, couldn't we? Thought they were following us. So we're just going, oh, my God, they're coming after us. And we would hide. This is out in the bloody property, like middle of nowhere, and we would just hide. We could hear this noise.
It's probably possible.
And it wasn't even them. It was just like they were all back having a party. It's like, hurry up and finish our wedding so we could get into whatever. No. So then wedding 30 years ago, and it was just beautiful. It was just a beautiful, beautiful event. Thinking about 30 years together, it hasn't all been rosy though. It started off very rosy, but as a lot of relationships, it's not always rosy.
No, it's where you learn to support each other.
Yeah. So what have some of the challenges been for you?
Well, I got burned out in teaching. I needed to get out. I was desperate. I'd already had 2 or 3 businesses on top of teaching, so I bought a third business.
Yeah, that was
bad move. Lost a lot of money within 6 months. Lost my health, my mental health, and just walked out. Lost a lot of money, but the upshot of it was Catherine got back into training with Macmillan, and so that was the good thing that came out of it. Then after that, went in the public service for a while, then managed the steel business for a while, and then I was ready to go back to teaching. So in sickness and in health.
Yeah, and it was for me, thinking about the challenges, that was the big one for us. And it was about...
That could have finished us.
Yeah, and it was about supporting each other through it. But there were times that were really tough, like the business that John purchased. In hindsight, would we have done it again? No fucking way. Like, no fucking way. But it's been a really big, poignant part of our lives. And I remember friends of ours that said, you know, when you're going through shit, just keep going. And we were going through, we lost a lot of money. You know, we're good now, but we lost a lot of money.
Lost time with the kids.
We lost time with the kids. Or John did. I kind of hunkered down and tried to make things normal for the kids. But there were days when we were thinking about, you know, are we going to go bankrupt?
Yeah.
How do you even go bankrupt?
Yeah.
I
considered suicide, but then the contract said they would chase the wife and kids for the money.
Yeah. So it was a really dark, shitty
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And we could have parted. I think I remember we had each had counselling at that time.
Yeah.
And John had said to me, do you want to stay married?
Yeah.
And I actually went, I need to think about that. Because it wasn't an easy yes and it wasn't an easy no. And I sat with that decision and I wanted to stay married. And it was like making that recommitting to us.
Yeah.
And it took, do you know what I reckon? I reckon it was probably 5. So we've been married for 30. I would say 5 of those years were caught up with what was happening there. And then we both really recommitted and we're in a really good place. Really good place.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're in a good place. We're in a really good place. So I guess what we're saying, and there's been other just normal kind of stuff that's
falling
just,
out of love.
Yeah. But that was a really big one for us. And we both dealt with that individually and then we dealt with it together. I remember John said to me, and I can't really, don't know if we've really talked about this, but he said, do you want to do marriage counselling? And I said, no. I said, I need to do counselling for myself and then we can come back together. I wasn't ready to do that together. I think we both went off and did our bit.
We did it separately.
Yeah. The other thing I've been thinking about is we're not a fiery couple. How would you say that we deal with differences or conflict?
I think we go away and think about it. Is it important? Is it worth fighting over? Is it something to deal with, you know? And if it is, eventually it comes out. And if it doesn't, well, we're a team and it's us first, individuals second. So if it doesn't affect us, it's probably not important. Dishes wait, even though it might annoy the shit out of me, or clothes on the floor, or
yours.
Hair products.
What do you mean? Your clothes
hair products on the sink. Is it important? And it's no. So.
Oh, he was thinking then.
We're us first,
yeah.
But we're still individuals. We still pursue individual interests. I go four-wheel driving. I go camping. I do nothing. And Catherine does her stuff, but then we're us. So together.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that conflict, we're not volatile. You know how some people need to get it out and then everything's just fine and beautiful afterwards. That's not us. We're lovers, not fighters. But we're not, that doesn't mean that we don't disagree, but we think about it. And I think it was reflective when I just heard myself talking about the challenge with the business, that we needed to go away and deal with that and then come back together. That's how we deal with conflict as well. I think we both process it And then if we need to, we talk about it. Sometimes we just, I don't know if you guys get this, but there's just a look, and I know John's look, and it's like, oh, I think I've crossed a line.
Same the other.
Yeah. But if there's something that we need to talk about, we will talk about it. But it's often not in the moment.
Right.
We've had time to process it, and then we'll talk about the thing.
We're very different.
We're very different. Do you know what? I think that's one of the things that makes us work. We are very different. We are chalk and cheese, but we both feel the need for each other, I think. Like we're chalk and cheese. John...
I like shoot-'em-up movies, so I do that on my own. But then we watch...
I do not like shoot-'em-up movies.
Together,
I like... Yeah.
Because that's what we do together. So we do stuff together, we do stuff apart.
Yeah. We have a very small window of what we can watch together, and John is very tolerant of me because I have a very small window of what I will watch anyway. But if there's any essence of somebody's going to get hurt, or there's an inkling of blood or animals or anything, and John's just like, oh my God, serious?
But that's what you do.
Yeah, and that's what I do. I do really appreciate. And we're very, John is very practical. One thing I love about us is we do stuff together, and it's not always like this, but often it's like this. I'll go, hey, John, I've had an idea. What about blah, blah, blah? And he's like, oh, yep. And I'll go, how do we make that work? And then he'll be the one that's got the really practical mind about how we can make stuff work. And it's just, at the moment we're putting a dog fence up, so the dogs have got access to the property without running away. And there's a bit of a trickiness in some of the gates and stuff. And I said, this is what I'm about the aesthetics. John's about how can it work? And I said, this is what I would like. And he said, that's not going to work. That won't work. And I said, well, do you want to just think about that differently? And he's like, it won't work. And I'm going, but could you maybe think about it differently so we can make it work? And he's going, it's not going to work. And I'm like, okay, all right. So what can we do around that? So that sort of is how we tend to, not always, but
and
tend
the gates
to.
Are almost up.
Yeah, and the gate's almost there. And it's almost
what you wanted.
What I wanted. Actually, it's better than what I wanted. So that's cool. That's cool. What are some of the special memories of these 30 years?
Kids.
Yeah. That's our family is, now you've started us. Our family is just so important to us. And when we were going through that tough time, like we always said, family is the most important thing. But when we were about to lose everything, family was the most important thing. And it's just been the central pillar of our lives. We would do anything for each other, for our immediate family, for our extended family. And I guess it's through it's not even, the hardship showed us that, but that is a central.
Yeah, Christmas times with Mama.
Yeah, with my grandmother, that we'd all get together.
Extended family. And my mum.
Yeah.
It's good.
So my mum passed away when I was young, and John's dad passed away before I met John. So it was his mum, my dad. So we have a small family, and our small family is really important. And we would go and visit your mum in Adelaide.
Yeah. Journeys. The kids in the car for 12 hours or something.
Our kids are good travellers. Our kids, our dogs.
Yeah. Holidays. I think just being together as a family is...
Do you know what? When I flick through, I'm just thinking about, and we didn't rehearse this at all. I just said, here are some questions, what do you reckon about? We just have a chat. Yeah. When I'm just flicking through special memories, it's togetherness, the two of us. Yeah. We've had some really beautiful times without the kids.
Yeah.
Kids, if you're listening, we want to keep having beautiful times without you, but... all my memories I'm thinking of have been with the kids.
Yeah. Beach holidays.
Beach holidays, yeah.
Going down to the dam with a canoe and, just down the road.
Yeah.
Just things we do together. they're the fun things.
And it's not even special. It's like just everydayness, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
and it's getting more special now.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you think makes us work? Like, we've talked a bit about that already, but what do you think makes us work?
I think we're still individuals. We're still who we are. We're true to ourselves. We're honourable people, and then we do it together. We're still ourselves. I don't give much different when you're around as to when I'm not. We got
I know.
same friends.
I know. Sometimes you need to.
Different friends, which we might not get on with, but we do it outside. So I think we're who we are together. We're who we are apart. It's the same people, but we don't always do it together.
No.
Right? I love flying. Catherine won't even watch me in the air.
No.
You know?
No.
I remember saying, "Did you watch me when I flew over you?" And she goes, "No." So,
no, but I did watch you when you came back and you'd broken your finger and show them your finger for those that are watching. Yeah. That's from a flying accident.
Yeah, and that
broken finger.
Then I realised dying's easy. Being injured and being looked after by family is not cool. So that's the last time I've done that.
That's his adventure stuff. He wants to.
But I still want to do it. Yeah, but I'll have a bigger motor and a bigger wing.
And I won't look.
And I'll have a runway instead of running.
Yeah, and I won't be looking.
Yeah, she won't come up with me.
No. But I think that is something that makes us work, that we have our individual pursuits.
Yeah.
We have our joint pursuits. We have our individual friends. We have joint friends. And we don't have expectations of each other.
No.
We support each other, but we don't interfere. And it's not like, just, John's off doing random, or maybe he is, or something like that. But it's like, they're things that he enjoys. And he'll quite often say, "Do you want to come out fishing in the boat?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, "Okay."
So it won't stop me.
Yeah, it doesn't stop him doing it. And there's some things that we kind of go, "Oh, you sure? Let's come and do it." So I think that's a key. I think that makes us work. And one of the things I was also reflecting on, we're quite lighthearted. A lot of people say, you guys have a lot of fun together, and we do. We're genuinely, like, I'm funny, John's not. But we generally have a lot of fun together.
Yeah.
And we
don't expect the worst from each other.
No.
And if we say something, if you say it in public, or if you say it.
No, if you say it in public, it's okay. If you say it private.
That's right.
Yeah. So we'll quite often take the piss out of each other.
We'll bag each other out.
We'll bag each other out. And it's kind of a bit of a funny, jesty, jokey thing. But
if we say it in private,
it's just like, well, that's not okay to do that. So that works for us. Yeah. That works for us. We don't take ourselves too seriously.
No.
And we support each other. I think the other thing is, there's been times when I've been all in with my career and John's taken the lead at home, and vice versa. And we support each other through our pursuits. Yeah. What do you love most about me?
That you're you. You can be you.
That I can be who I am.
Yeah.
And
she lets me be who I am. So when I go canoeing or tinnying down the Murray River on an adventure with my mate Barry, she'll let me do that. I'll just disappear for 6 weeks, but keep in contact too. But
maybe 7, maybe go 7 or 8.
But we don't contact each other all the time. We're not in each other's pockets. We might not talk for 4 or 5 days, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I don't like you.
I really love about John is what you see is what you get. And that was right from on the horse. And he doesn't pretend to be anything, even though sometimes I do go, "Could you please put a belt on and pull your pants up?" I made him put another shirt on just for the podcast. And he's like, "But nobody's going to see us." And I said, "But it's on YouTube." But do you know, at the end of the day, I love that he is comfortable in his own skin, and what you see is what you get. There are no pretenses. he's really kind, really caring, and he's an acts of service guy, and that he shows his love through doing stuff, which is just, and I know that I can rely on him, that there's been, this has been a tough year. This has been a really tough year. It's also been a really great year, but we've just been there. I just know him being around is, I feel very, very in very safe hands.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to in the future?
Time apart. Adventures, fishing, doing nothing, being at home with Catherine. Sometimes, because I don't know if you've seen our place, but we've got a great spot. And I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
I'm only going to be working part-time, so time for me, because it's been for family, it's been for us. Now it's time for me and you.
Yeah.
So
and it's a different
pressure,
yeah,
or a lack of pressure.
Yeah.
Still got to do stuff, still got to work, but not as hard or as long.
Do you know, it's working. We don't need to work. It's to just to have some
Extras.
nicer things. Yeah, just to have extras and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to this next phase of life where we're stepping in. We're almost stepping into that harvest stage. You know, we've worked really, really hard. We've worked in our careers really hard, our family, which is still really important, but it's now moving into this next phase of enjoying being in this new lifestyle at the beach.
Yes.
Like the other day, we just ducked off to the beach
for an hour.
Like it was a work day, and it wasn't, but it was a week work day. And we just went, do you feel like hanging out at the beach? And it was like, yeah, that sounds really cool.
Then the beach wasn't very nice, so we went and found another beach that was sheltered.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward, we've got some travel planned. But like John said, it's really about immersing ourselves into our new home and community, and that's sort of our next 12 months. And then we've got some little projects to do, and what I got really excited about is planning out. I love, if you don't know, I love to plan and organise things. So thinking about our next sort of 12, 18 months, what are the things that we want to experience and achieve and do together? I've got my list, John's got his list of separate things, and just how we can create that next part of our lives is what I'm looking forward to. So 30 years.
Here's to another 10.
10. I know. 10? Do you reckon 10? That would be 40 years. What will you be then? I'll
be 73.
And I'll be
28.
60. Yeah, I'll be 28. 10. I reckon I've got a few more years.
I just want the next 10 to be good years, and then the next 10
to be okay.
To be what it is.
Yeah.
You know.
I want the next 30 to be great years. So whether he's there or not. But anyway, It's been great. Do you know what? One last little thing I will say. This time last year, or early January last year, we went to Bali, and that was beautiful. That was one of those beautiful family experiences. And then I stayed on and did a little DIY retreat afterwards, and I had a tarot reading. And the tarot reading, she mapped out a whole lot of my life, but she got to relationships, and the Emperor and John's kind of going, oh, fuck, there you are with your woo-woo stuff. But the Emperor and the Empress came out, and she said, and there was a whole lot of other like really significant cards supporting our relationship. And she said, I haven't seen a reading that has shown two people that are meant to be together as much as we are. And it was just like, wow. And she said, we both just fulfill that need in each other. So just taking that hunch, going horse riding when I didn't want to go horse riding, if I had said, no, I'm not going, who knows what the 30 years would have been. But I'm really grateful that I went and said yes to horse riding. What are you grateful for?
Horse riding.
All right, that's it. We could go on and on and on, but Love you. And we're a little bit over 30 minutes. I was trying to aim for 30 minutes for 30 years, but we've gone 33. So that's me, overachiever.
See ya.
See ya. Thanks for tuning in to Happy Go Fabulous. I hope you loved it. If you did, could I ask a big favour? Please subscribe, leave a review, and most importantly, share the love and let your besties know about the podcast. This will help get it into the hearts and ears of all the gorgeous souls who need a little bit of fabulous in their life. If you'd like some more high vibe happiness in your life, come and visit me on my Happiness Hive socials and make sure you've signed up to my newsletter, your weekly drop of juicy goodness. Pop over to my Happiness Hive website and click on the link Working with Catherine. I'd love to help you make life amazing. Until next time, keep being fabulous.